Well, I have a few questions that I'd like to ask Michele based on her experience and her perspective. What do you see as the most common challenges and fears and problems that caregivers face as they're working with their family members?
Well, it's interesting because I do include the caregivers. I include the caregivers in my support group that I do, and I also include the caregivers in the visits that we do. I tell patients that we all have baggage. I mean, we all have things in our lives that we bring forward, and how we've handled that in our lifetime, good, bad, and different. Sometimes, a lot of times, we've empowered through it. And as caregivers, I think the challenge caregivers have is this sense of wanting to take over sometimes, wanting to care 100%, sometimes distance themselves, sometimes feeling lost over here, that all the focus is on the patient and they're getting lost. You know, they're tired, they're not sleeping, they're worried, their faith is rocked. One guy goes, "You didn't give me a instruction manual of how to deal with my wife on steroids." And I hear it, you know, I hear that everybody's going through their own journey, and, you know, many times trying to help them work together rather than pull apart. We have divorce rates, you know, for people that have gone through cancer, and that it's such a hard thing that it rocks the core of kind of relationships. And I think you can't exclude it. You have to bring everybody back into the mix. More challenging relationships that maybe were already strained and the cancer is making it harder. That's where I call Jean Marie. As a social worker, I'm like, okay, I need your help. You know, I know where I need to pull my power in, you know, with other, where as a nurse I can take it to a certain point, but then I need other people to kind of embrace and help the family, because it's not an individual journey. I think the harder part is for people that don't have caregivers, that don't have family, that don't have a church base, that don't have those pieces, that those can be a challenging journey for patients that really don't have the support.
What advice or encouragement can you share with each one of us, just from your experience and what you do and how you help people be encouraged and give them hope?
Well, I tell patients, and I just had this conversation yesterday where she was saying, you know, I've lost everything. And we kind of sat back and I said, okay, let's pick that through. Let's talk through that. And I think it's that knowing that even in diversity, we have ability to control something. It's not the same. It's not our lives as we know it, like right now. Like, we know that I got up and I came here and I had no problems and I drove my car and I'm cold and I complain. But when you have a diagnosis and you're going through it, it's understanding that you modify so that you remember that each day is a gift. And what can we say that we embrace that day and we don't lose that day? Because none of us have the guarantees, but how do we embrace that day? And really telling what can you control, what can't you control, and the things that you can't control, how do we slowly let some of that stuff go so that the things we can, we embrace and we hold and we hug and we love, and you have that moment of time that you're thankful for right here. So I had a guy that was mad because he had to meet with me. I don't want to meet with you. Why am I meet with you? Survivor, you know, all this stuff. And I said, well, I'm not a survivor. I have a bad diagnosis. And I said, well, you put your shoes on and you came here and you're sitting here and giving me some gruff, so you're surviving, you know, and working through that piece. And at the end of it, he wouldn't stop. I'm like, okay, it's time, you know, I got somebody behind you, you know. And I think it's that helping through some of that grief and helping through some of that loss to say that at the end of the day, I do have patients that will say cancer was the best gift I ever was given. Because I have more awareness of love, I have more awareness of my faith, I have more awareness of the gifts that I have every day. And I didn't see that. I was powering through my life, and I didn't stop to smell the roses, so you want to say. I didn't stop long enough to say, I'm here now, I'm present now, I'm living right now. And it's those kind of things, you know, kind of saying, how do we live right now? You know, otherwise cancer wins. And do we want cancer to win? No. So how do we live right now, in the moment? You know, telling people that you love, what do you love, you know, embracing those times. Because we can step out the door and get hit by a bus. Probably not out here because, you know, it's kind of safe. But, I mean, that's kind of where we are in life. And, yeah, if people come back and go, this was an incredible gift.
I found that in my life, that cancer truly was a blessing. It was almost the closing of my life as far as what I've been doing, but it's given me an extension to say, okay, what's out there? And for me, I agree with Michele. I found the details of every day to be more compelling than I used to miss. And people always say, well, the devil's in the details. I saw God in the details, things that you would see like the leaves in the fall, where you're too busy driving by them. All of a sudden you'd stop and you'd look at the beauty of them. Or you'd look at a lake. You know, I drive by that lake every day. Something made you stop and appreciate what you had. That was my only regret of, boy, I wasted a lot of good joy in my life missing the details because I was always looking out for something else. And the times Michele and I talked about this, it gave me an awareness that all of us think like that at times. We think many different ways, but oftentimes we miss the obvious that's right in front of us. So I do believe that now being cancer-free, that it was a blessing. And what I believe in my life, and I'd like you to think about this too when you go home today, is what are you doing with the remaining years of your life? Whether it's 1 week or 20 years or 30 years. Because with me it was, I'm 61 years old. Should I retire? And I thought, well, there was one reason I was healed, and it wasn't so I would have a comfortable retirement. It was, there's people out there that need help. If you could help them, help them. And what I found was, even going through the treatments, I could help people, and it really nourished me. Because it gave you hope of, okay, I'm not alone. Anybody here feel like they're all alone at times? Whether you have the illness or not, we all live in a lifestyle and at times you just feel alone. Well, you really aren't. And that's, as we look forward, how can we help you best? It's, first of all, there's people that do care and that you aren't alone, but you have to step out because we can't come to people that we don't know that you are alone. You have to let us know, so you need to step out. That's one thing I've seen with guys. Guys don't step out. They just hang back, and yet guys have the same types of symptoms, issues, struggles that women do, and the illness can't separate you and say, well, now I'm just going to go off on my own and really not look for help. That's where we need to be humble and come back and work together on this.